Hi guys, my name is Nikki, aka the Dragon Queen, and today I'm here with my Top 5 Wednesday. Now the topic today is Top 5 Favorite Non-Written Novels. So what that means are books that are mangas, comics, graphic novels, audiobooks, etc. So I have 3 graphic novels and I have 2 audiobooks that I would like to mention. The first graphic novel that I would like to mention is Serenity, Firefly Class 03K64 Leaves on the Wind by Jack Whedon and George Genty. Now this is kind of a continuation of the Firefly series and I really enjoyed it. As we all know, Firefly ended way too quickly. Serenity tied up a lot of it, but it just wasn't enough, so I do plan on getting the rest of this series one day and reading all of it. The next one that I have for the graphic novels is the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children graphic novels. I have book 1 and book 2, and the art style is gorgeous. You can see here. The art style is absolutely gorgeous. The graphic novels are identical to the story, or into the actual written novel, so they're a quick read that gives you a synopsis basically of the entire story. So I really enjoy them, especially when I'm like, I really want to read that again, but I don't want to take the time to read them because rereading takes away time for reading new books. So I do really enjoy these ones. The third one, which I don't have, it's currently at my best friend's house because I gave it to her, is Lock and Key. I've read the first one by Joe Hill and this one is amazing. I do intend to read the rest of them. She just bought the second one and the third one, I think, or just the second one. The second one. So I will be reading that, as well as Wraith, which is also by Joe Hill. So I do intend to read those shortly. Joe Hill seems to be right up my alley. I haven't read him before this, but I did intend to read Heart-Shaped Box, which is one of his novels. So now I plan to read the Wraith first, and then I'll move on to the second, Lock and Key. The next 2 books that I'm mentioning are the audiobooks, and the first one is one that I'm currently listening to, and I'm very fond of it actually, and that's Graceling. By, I forget the name. So Graceling is a book I just randomly picked up from the library. I saw Wish Fulfillment talking about it on Twitter, and I ran across it when I was looking for an audiobook to listen to through Overdrive, and I was like, why not? So I picked it up, and I really enjoy the audiobook. I'll put the name over here of who is the voice actor, but I'm pretty sure it's multiple voice actors because the way that they do it is there's one voice for the narrator and then there's a different voice for every single character. And in some audiobooks you can tell it's the same person just slightly altering their voice, but in this one it literally, I'm pretty sure it's just different people. It doesn't sound like the same voice. So either the narrator is a phenomenal voice actor or they have multiple people reading this book. And it's pretty interesting because you can easily tell who's talking when you're listening to it. So I'm about 40% in right now and I'm really enjoying it so far. And the story is really good too. The other one is the Dresden Files series. I have read the book once and I've listened to the book multiple times, or all 15 books multiple times, and it is voice acted by James Marsters and he's better known as Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So he does a fantastic job reading it, and it's pretty interesting because in my head, Harry Dresden sounds like James Marsters now. And because it's in first person, it sounds like Harry's reading the story to you, but it's James and he's just doing a freaking fantastic job. And he does a very good job at quickening his pace when he needs to, or changing his being out of breath when he needs to, or sounding like he's being choked if he needs to. So he does that very well, and it gets you into the story that more so. So when you're supposed to feel like you're being rushed, you feel like you're being rushed because you're hearing him rushing. And there is one of my favorite things is they kept it on purpose, I'm pretty sure. But in one of the books, there's a scene where he's being choked, and it starts doing the voice, and he's like, he sounds like he's being choked, and then he's like, oh, it's from behind. Well, fuck. So they kept it in there, and it was hilarious because he realized he wouldn't have sounded like that about a quarter, like after the sentence was finished. But those are my favorites. I do like a couple other graphic novels. If you are interested in reading some, I recommend Sex Criminals, which is very funny. It's about people who, when they orgasm, they freeze time, and then they use that to become criminals and steal stuff from banks or from their work. And then the other one is Saga, which is very good so far. I've read book 1. I'm not entirely sure the extreme details about that. Sandman by Neil Gaiman is very good. I've read about 6 of those. I borrowed them from my local library. Fables is also another one that I enjoy, which is a retelling sort of. It focuses on all of the fables throughout the world, and it combines them into one, and they have been cast away from their homes, so they're all living in modern day America, and they're trying to keep themselves hidden while still living a normal life. So that one's really good too. And finally, there's Why the Last Man, which I also borrowed from my library, and I've read, I think, 9 of those. And that one is something happens, and every man and male in the entire world and every species disappears or dies, except for one person and his pet monkey. And they are trying to figure out what is happening, and he is trying to stay safe because there are different versions of what people want. There are people who realize they need males to self-preserve, and then there are people who like it, and they're trying to, if they find a male, which obviously there's only one, they want to kill them, and they think that it's okay that there's no men. So that one's really interesting. And yeah, so what audiobooks have you listened to recently that you really enjoyed? What graphic novels have you read that you love that you think I might like? Leave them down below and let me know. I love to chat about it. Like it if you like it, subscribe if you want to, and this is the Dragon Queen signing off.